Hi, today I'm going to be talking about IG's API and how to get market data. So IG offers two forms of getting market data, either getting the real-time data or getting a fetch-based request data. So real-time data, you get real-time price changes, and the other one is where when you fetch the instrument, they'll return what the current price is right now at that moment. So it is worth bearing in mind, or at least knowing, that IG does not offer real-time data for instruments listed on any exchange, apart from Forex. So if you wanted to get Tesla data, you cannot get real-time Tesla data. What they offer is your ability to fetch Tesla data. So when you fetch it, it'll tell you what the current price is at that time. But if you wanted real-time data, all they offer is Forex or indices. So I'm going to be talking about how the fetch request works firstly. And yeah, so I've got a small program here that I built. It's a small algo that basically gets some data, works out what the difference is between the data now and previously, and then bases a buy or a sell on that. It's kind of useless. It's just built more of a test to understand how some of my code works. So yeah, so let's go into the market data. So the main meat of where the data's access is through here. So this function is essentially a function in one of IG's GitHub pages that they've built in Python. So this is kind of like the API that they've built through GitHub, and I downloaded the project and was working from there. It's much easier because they've done a lot of refinery here. Um, yeah. So if we go here, if we go through this function, you can see we return back a data set as this. So we get returned back a map. So essentially a map is a key assigned to a value. And what IG has done, they've packaged all the values in what they call a munch. It's just the way they do things. So what I found was the easiest way to turn a munch into an object that's easier to read is to do JSON dumps, which converts it to a string, and then we do JSON loads to convert that string back into a map. So here, so you can see our data is returned back here as a map. So you can see here we've got our data assigned like that. Just worth talking about each part. So instrument basically talks about aspects of the actual instrument, what type of value it is. So you've got different types of acronyms on daily funded bets, and it basically talks about what the unit is in terms of what size it was the minimum required to send orders by, currency, margin factor, which essentially is how much margin you have to put into to even buy the smallest amount of that instrument, and sort of stuff like that. You got dealing rules, which essentially states how much your limit must be and how far your stop loss must be. And then you've got a snapshot, which is basically your data, where it tells you what the current price is for that instrument. So you can see here our bid and our offer are these two, and our high and our low are these two. These are really, it's not quite clear what these are relating to because they might be for the previous day or today's day, but they don't specify that. So it's mainly just best working with these two pieces of data when trying to get numbers in terms of price. Yeah, so okay, so you can see we just had a small cap here, basically trying to work out whether we had enough data to make some suggestions on previous sets of data. So you can see here we're getting our bid, offer, and low, and then we go into the previous object we got for our data in terms of value. You can see that there, because the difference between those 2 points where we got market data was so small that the values are pretty much identical. So here we're basically saying that if our often old is a certain difference, if it's bigger than 10, then we make a we generate a signal for either a buy or a sell. You can see it's kind of, I mean, stupid because you'll basically be making orders all the time then. But yeah, that's essentially how you get market data.